Beneath the ordinary world lies a veil, and behind it, the voices of the lost still whisper.
We are your guides into the shadows, where true crime meets the paranormal.
From chilling crimes to haunted histories, we uncover the stories that refuse to rest.
This is Veil of Echoes. Lincoln County, Minnesota, May 14th, 2008. Brandon Swanson was 19 years old, a college freshman driving home after a night with friends. He called his parents to tell them he was stuck, that he could see lights, that he was walking towards them. They stayed on the phone with him for 47 minutes, and then the line went silent. Brandon Swanson has never been seen again. This is Missing Veil Files, Case File, Episode 2.
This series is researched and narrated by Bria, Zach, and Lindsay, host of the Veil of Echoes podcast.
Missing Veil Files exist to keep names spoken when the world grows quiet, to honor the missing, and to stand with the family still searching for answers. If there is a case you believe deserves to be told, you can reach us through the Veil of Echoes podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
This case does not begin with violence. It does not begin with fear. It begins with a phone call and a young man who believed he was almost home. This case file concerns the disappearance of Brandon Swanson. Before he became the voice on a disconnected phone line, Brandon Swanson was a son and a brother. He was raised in Marshall, Minnesota, by his parents, Brian and Annette Swanson. Family mattered to Brandon. He stayed in close contact with his parents and was known for checking in, especially when plans changed.
At 19 years old, Brandon was a freshman at Minnesota West Community and Technical College. He was studying wind energy, a field that reflected both practicality and ambition. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't known for disappearing or pushing boundaries.
Brandon was described as kind and thoughtful. He had brown hair, wore glasses, and stood just under 6 feet tall. His ears were pierced. He had a steady voice, the kind people trusted. Details like these aren't just identifiers. They're the things someone remembers years later. The details you replay. The ones you search for in crowds and passing faces long after the night someone didn't come home. Brandon drove regularly. He knew rural roads. He understood distances. There was nothing about his life that suggested he would simply vanish.
There is no indication Brandon planned to leave. No packed belongings, no goodbyes, no reason to believe he wouldn't be home the next day. Which is why what happened next remains impossible to reconcile. On the night of May 13th, 2008, Brandon made a series of ordinary decisions that ended in a mystery no one has been able to explain.
That evening, Brandon attended a party in Lind, Minnesota. He drank alcohol, something he later acknowledged to his parents. Just after midnight, he decided to drive home.
While driving rural back roads, Brandon accidentally drove into a ditch. The car was disabled, but not destroyed. He wasn't injured. He was able to get out and walk.
At 1:54 a.m., Brandon called his parents. He told them he was stuck, that he could see lights in the distance, and that he was going to walk towards them.
For the next 47 minutes, Brandon stayed on the phone with his father. His parents drove toward the area, attempting to locate him. Both believed they were close, but they were not seeing each other.
Brandon described walking through fields. He mentioned fences. He told his parents he could hear running water. At one point, he said he was tired, but he never sounded panicked.
Suddenly, Brandon exclaimed, "Oh shit!" The line didn't disconnect right away. There was silence. For a moment, his parents stayed on the line, listening, waiting for him to speak again. When nothing came, they hung up. They tried calling back, again and again. But Brandon never answered. His phone eventually went straight to voicemail.
By morning, concern had turned into urgency. And urgency became a search.
Law enforcement was contacted at first light. Search teams were deployed. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers. The area Brandon was believed to be walking through was vast.
Later, investigators located Brandon's car. It was not where he believed it was. He had misidentified his location. He was miles from where his parents were searching.
The area was made up of fields, creeks, and gravel roads. There were bodies of water nearby. The terrain was uneven, dark, and unforgiving.
No footprints leading away. No clothing. No phone. No trace of Brandon Swanson. In cases like Brandon's, investigators are left with possibilities, not conclusions. There is no confirmed evidence pointing to a single explanation, but several scenarios have been considered.
One theory is that Brandon accidentally fell into a body of water. He reported hearing running water shortly before the call went silent. The area contained creeks, drainage ditches, and river channels. Despite extensive searches, no physical evidence has ever been confirmed of this.
Another possibility is that Brandon fell into a hidden hazard. Rural farmland can contain unmarked holes, drainage culverts, abandoned wells, or steep drops. In darkness, these features can be nearly invisible. Some areas were difficult to search thoroughly. Not all landowners were immediately comfortable allowing access to their property. As a result, certain terrain could not be fully ruled out.
It is also possible Brandon became injured or disoriented. He had been walking for nearly an hour. It was dark, the terrain was uneven, but again, no trace of Brandon has ever been found.
Some have questioned whether Brandon encountered another person. There is no evidence to support foul play. No signs of a struggle, no witnesses, and no indication that anyone else was involved.
Each possibility exists because of what is missing, not what is known, and none provide certainty.
In the absence of answers, what remains is the weight of the unknown. More than 15 years have passed since Brandon disappeared. There has been no confirmed sighting, no recovery.
Investigators believe Brandon likely died accidentally, possibly from drowning, but no physical evidence has ever confirmed this.
Brandon's parents still speak his name. They still replay the call. And they still wonder how someone can vanish while being heard the entire time.
In the years after Brandon disappeared, his parents refused to let his story fade into paperwork. They pushed for change. In 2009, Minnesota passed what is known as Brandon's Law. The law requires law enforcement to take missing adult reports seriously, without waiting periods, and without assumptions about intent.
Which they should.
It should be that way.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter if you're a child or not. Like,
Yeah.
18 doesn't mean you don't need help.
Again, if that's not like
No.
him, obviously. What?
They only do that for senior citizens and teenagers and children.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so once you're 18 to
Once you're 18
55,
to
you don't-
55,
yeah,
you're fucked.
you don't. You just. We're
But
not
even
looking
like for
you.
some like teenagers or children, they're like, or oh, they might have just ran away.
A lot of
yeah.
16-year-olds, they do the whole, well, they probably
Yeah.
just ran away. Because honestly, that is, it's
Which,
a
I
going
get
trip for
it.
16-year-olds. Like,
Right.
you know,
But
that
still,
age
like-
group. But at the same time, if you've got a family or a mom or a dad saying, this is not like my daughter or my son, that should be taken a little bit more into consideration rather than, well, let's just wait and see what actually happens. No, because that time, that 72-hour time period, you're wasting.
Exactly.
You're fucking wasting that time. It doesn't matter.
Statistics don't matter. Find people.
It doesn't matter if they ran off, if they were kidnapped, or whatever the fuck happened. That's still a person, and that still needs to be looked into and taken seriously. I don't care if it's a fucking 30-year-old who's like, oh, I'm just gonna go run off because I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's not like them, then fucking investigate it like you fucking should.
I know.
I mean, maybe even if it is like them, you should probably still give it a fucking look just for the peace of mind. Like,
but no, we're not gonna do that because we're America's justice system.
the one question they should not be allowed to ask, have they done this before? I don't give a fuck if they just done it yesterday.
Exactly.
Go make sure they're okay.
Yep. But, like, I mean, with his situation, I think I read, he was found 25 miles away from where his parents, where he thought he was.
Oh, yeah, his car.
Yes. 25 miles away.
Yeah, apparently he went, like, the complete wrong direction away from home. Like, he wasn't even heading towards his house. So
And then,
somewhere with his drinking and driving, he got turned around.
And it says, following the discovery of his car, search efforts spanned over 120 square miles, with tracking dogs tracing his scent for over 3 miles to the edge of the river.
Yeah, water's a damning thing.
Well, it's just
Especially
sad.
when you're drunk, too.
Oh my, yeah. That poor kid, I don't know. It's sad.
Yeah.
Before Brandon's disappearance, adults were often classified as voluntary missing within hours. Brandon's law changed that. It ensured that concern would be treated as urgency. His parents couldn't bring their son home, but they made sure others would be searched for sooner. Because of Brandon Swanson, time matters now, in ways it didn't before.
They need to make that worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
If you have any information about the disappearance of Brandon Swanson, law enforcement is still listening. You can contact the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office in Minnesota. Tips can be submitted anonymously. Even the smallest detail can matter.
Brandon Swanson was 19 years old. He was walking towards what he believed was home. And somewhere in the dark, he disappeared. As long as his name is spoken, this case remains open.
Thank you for holding space for Brandon's story. Missing Veil Files will return every other Saturday, taking the time these cases deserve. If you know of a missing person whose story should be told, you can reach us through Veil of Echoes podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Until then, keep your ears open.
And the veil closed.